What's going on, guys? It's Michael MGF, and today I'm going to be doing another LEGO Star Wars 2015 set review, and this time I've got the highly anticipated Ultimate Collector Series Slave 1, and the set number for this UCS set is 75060. The recommended ages are 14 and up, and it has a piece count of 1,996, while the price point is $200, and it is absolutely worth that $200 because this set is freaking phenomenal in all of its entirety. I cannot believe how awesome this set is. I mean, I never thought a UCS set would happen, but the lead designer and everyone involved who made this happen did such a great job. This thing is so well designed, it is so accurate, it is so detailed, and it is just such a perfect display piece and represents the bounty hunters that we all love ship so well. I mean, this thing is awesome, and that is why it is absolutely worth the $200, and hopefully this review will convince you of that, and hopefully you'll be able to stick around because it's going to be a bit extensive, but I'll try to get into all the reasons just as to why. But without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so starting off with one hell of a figure, we've got Boba Fett, and this is easily the best Boba Fett minifigure to date. I mean, we've had Boba Fett's with leg printing before, but never have we had a Boba Fett whose arms were printed and whose cape was also printed, and it just makes for one hell of a Boba Fett figure. Like I said, one thing though, I mean, when is LEGO gonna let go of this pistol mold? I mean, damn, this doesn't look anything like his rifle that we see in the film, but that's why I use Brickforge's EE3s, but personally, I just cannot wait for LEGO to make a new weapon mold because they abuse this thing so much, but that's okay. The minifigure itself is absolutely incredible, but one other problem that I do want to go over that you will most likely have if you get this set is, unfortunately, the helmet printing is off. The T-visor wrapped in red goes a little bit too high, and it's not exactly preferable, and it does look a little bit weird. It makes the visor look a little bit deformed, and it's really unfortunate because this is a new issue that really wasn't seen a whole lot. Like, there were misprints on Boba Fett minifigures, but never this frequent. Like, everyone who's getting this set that I've seen so far have been reporting this exact same thing, and it kind of sucks. But if you go ahead and remove the helmet, you can see that we've got a brand new printed face, which definitely looks really awesome. Absolutely love the expression and the scar that he has on the left side of his face. Really awesome. I'm not really sure if you consider that a scar. It's more like just the cheekbones, and then you have sort of like a little scar right there on the left. But yeah, it's a really awesome face, and I absolutely love it. There is no double-sided face for him though. And if we go ahead and just take the blaster and just pull it away temporarily to give you a look at the rest of the minifigure's arms and the printing on it, it's absolutely fantastic. You have the Wookiee braid along with the shoulder armor, the wrist armor. It's all on there on this arm here, and then obviously the Wookiee braid continues onto the torso. We've all seen the torso before. I do not believe it's new, but if it is new, definitely correct me down in the comments. I just personally think I don't think it is. But the legs look absolutely fantastic. I'm not sure if these are the same ones as the Comic-Con exclusive Boba Fett, but they still do look really awesome. I absolutely love the designs of the printed legs. It all looks really, really great. The printing is freaking awesome. It's just a shame that the helmet got misprinted, but if we go ahead and remove the head and the jetpack to get a better look at the cape that Boba Fett has underneath the jetpack, you can see it is really awesome. I'm not sure if this is a new shape or not, but the printing is absolutely completely new, and it looks absolutely great with, you know, adding a lot of detail. And then on this arm, we actually have the bounty hunter symbol, which looks freaking phenomenal. The wrist, everything is accurate on this minifigure, and everything is spot on. Everything is there. It just makes for one hell of a Boba Fett. A Boba Fett minifigure of this quality we haven't seen since like the Cloud City. I mean, this is the first Boba Fett since the Cloud City that has arm printing, and it just looks so freaking great. It's just, God, I mean, I still can't find the original Boba Fett helmet that I have like this that doesn't have the misprint, but man, once I find it, this is going to be like the perfect Boba Fett figure once I can find it to swap it out. But yeah, you can see that we do have the back printing as well, which looks equally as fantastic. And even though you obviously cover it up with the jetpack, this is just overall an absolutely fantastically printed figure. But like I said, it just sucks that the helmets are unfortunately misprinted for the majority of the Boba Fetts in the UCS Slave 1s, and it's just kind of a problem that you have to get past. And if you have the original Slave 1 from 2010, then it's not really that big of a problem. I mean, personally, I lost that Boba Fett helmet helmet. I can't seem to find it. I was only able to find the body, so unfortunately for now, I personally am stuck with this misprinted helmet. And obviously, if you don't already know, the rangefinder can be put in on either slot of the helmet and posed whichever way you want. And then also, what's kind of cool is we do get the actual clone visors, which I'll get to toward the end of this video, that are included with extra pieces. So there is actually a second accessory that you can put on Boba Fett if you want to make him look weird and inaccurate. So, but overall, God, this is an amazing figure just with a misprint and a blaster, which doesn't look anything like the actual thing, but still, it's a great minifigure and easily the best Boba Fett that we have ever had to date. There really isn't anything new with this Han Solo variant, but it is definitely really nice to see the torso again at least. But if we go ahead and remove the hairpiece, you can see we've got an entirely new facial expression, which makes Han Solo look pretty concerned, I guess, and it looks pretty nice. But if we go ahead and turn the head around to get a better look at the alternative facial expression, we've got the actual face that he makes when frozen in the carbonite block, which is definitely pretty cool. I don't think Lego has ever actually printed this onto a face. I think they, like, usually they only print it onto the carbonite block itself, but they actually have it on the minifigure's face this time around, which is definitely kind of cool. But yeah, overall, it's a great Han Solo minifigure, and there really isn't anything to complain about because it's pretty hard to go wrong with such a basic minifigure. Lego considers the carbonite block to be an actual minifigure, but I'm not going to put it on the minifigure stand because to me it really is just a piece. And overall, I mean, it's the exact same Han Solo and carbonite piece that we have had previously. It's always been really nice to see this thing, and the detail that's printed onto the sides has always been really great as well. It's all really awesome, and it's all there. But I mean, you know, the back side obviously is hollow, and there's nothing that really makes this, you know, because obviously you can take Han Solo and just clip him into the carbonite block itself because there are a couple pegs from minifigure hands. But I'll never get over the fact how you know, usually, you know, Han Solo is supposed to be concealed in it, but you can just basically, he can just fall out of this thing if he was you know, held like this essentially. So, but that's just something, you know, that's just kind of like a nitpick thing because obviously it has to be open, I guess, for playability or some other reason like that. And obviously the two hinges on the top and bottom are grippable by minifigures. So yeah, man, there you go, carbonite block. Having an all blue minifigure doesn't exactly work with the all blue background, so I apologize for that, but this is my first Bespin Guard minifigure, and it's definitely pretty awesome. He's got the Agent Coulson face. I always say that because this face always reminds me of Agent Coulson from Marvel for whatever reason. But he does also have the new hats that were introduced in the summer of 2014, and this time molded in blue, and they look really awesome, especially for these minifigures. The torso printing is simple but accurate, therefore, you know, there's really nothing to complain about with it. It looks great. And if we go ahead and turn it around, the same thing can be said for the back of his torso, and there's no leg printing, and he does have the standard pistol, and that's really it. It's definitely, you know, the minifigures in this set, aside from Boba Fett and the Stormtrooper, really aren't, you know, anything to I mean, they're great, it's just, you know, they're simple, which is fine. I missed out on a lot of the 2014 summer sets. As a matter of fact, I only reviewed the Ghost, so I did not get to talk about this new Stormtrooper, and this new Stormtrooper is really nice. I don't think there was actually a standard blank one in the summer set, so this might be new to the winter set. Not totally sure on that, but you can correct me down in the comments below if I am mistaken. But this minifigure, its design, the design work with the torso, the leg printing, the back of the torso, it all looks really great. It's all there. It's all really spot on. And it's just, I am like the opposite of the majority of you. Like, a lot of you guys really do like the mouth on these new Stormtroopers, but I don't. And I actually prefer the mouth on the Rebel Stormtroopers for whatever reason. I just like that Stormtrooper design more. But I mean, aside from that, it's still a really nice helmet, and all the outlining that goes on with the little details here, like on both sides of the helmet, it looks really great, and I absolutely love it, aside from the mouth. And I mean, if we go ahead and remove the helmet, we do have the Clone Trooper head, which is controversial amongst a lot of you, because obviously a lot of the Clone Troopers would have died out, but there were still some left, and therefore Lego does get by with this one just barely. And if we go ahead and put the Stormtrooper helmet back on, you can see that we do have the standard blaster, no stud shooter with our Stormtrooper or Boba Fett, because obviously this is a UCS set, and therefore there's no room for anything like that. But still a really nice Stormtrooper regardless, and it has taken long enough to finally get Stormtroopers with this kind of quality printing, and man, have this minifigure and Boba Fett come a long way. Alright, so now that I got the minifigures out of the way, I can finally start expressing my love for this amazing set. But before I do so, I do want to go over the features that are included with the UCS Slave 1 here, and they are limited. This is not, you know, a playset. I mean, it kind of is, because you can store a couple of minifigures, but what I'm saying is there are no spring-loaded shooters or flick-fire missiles or stud shooters or anything like that that can add to playability. It's really just the fact that you can store a couple of minifigures inside it. obviously being the cockpit and the cargo hold for Han Solo in his carbonite block. But the primary feature of the UCS Slave 1 here is the fact that the cockpit is removable, and this entire piece was molded exclusively for this set, and it works so well, and it is such a really, it's just a really awesome piece to have. And yeah, these are actually a couple stickers right here on the back half of it, but if we go ahead and put that off to the side here to get a better look at the cockpit and everything it has to offer, there's a lot going on in here, and it's really detailed for what the LEGO Group, you know, what the designer was, you know, the space that he had, and it just looks so freaking awesome in there. And the actual cockpit seat is, it obviously can bend up and down, and that's obviously a feature that is completely necessary for just the way the Slave 1 functions, and it's freaking awesome. Now, there are a couple of control panels pretty much lodged in the sides, both sides of the interior here, and you also have a couple of clips on both sides. It's for, you know, basically the minifigure's weapons. And what's kind of funny is you actually get an extra rifle for Boba Fett, so you can pretty much have him dual wielding these same rifles. So I don't really know why the LEGO Group thought it was necessary to include, you know, 2 of these. I'm not arguing with it. It's just kind of weird how we have 2 of the same blaster. And but yeah, so you can pretty much obviously put the you know, the other blaster on the opposite side there on this clip. But the actual, could be like the control panels that are on the seat here, the main cockpit seating, it's really awesome. You have these 2 slow pieces here, which are actually stickers, but really look really nice and are, you know, heavily detailed with their designs. You have the standard control panel piece that I think the LEGO Group has probably included in more than half of their sets. And if you really honestly care, the actual like seat thing, I mean, I'm not really sure what you would refer to this as, but it is posable with a couple of hinge pieces if you you know, wanted to see that, I guess. But yeah, so there's really not much else in the cockpit. I mean, there are a couple of studs down here, which I should point out. So I mean, I guess if you want your minifigure to be standing right here, if you bend their arms up, that is a possibility if you really feel like it. And you also have a couple of, you know, you have some available studs here if you want to stick your minifigure there. But I mean, you know, just you know, there is a lot of space in there, and surprisingly a lot. So you can actually store a pretty decent amount of minifigures if you really tried. But we'll go ahead and take Boba Fett and seat him inside the cockpit and get him into a you know, a seated position, and we'll fold down his rangefinder just like he had it in Empire Strikes Back, and get him inside the cockpit here. And so with that done, we're going to fold him down because, well, I guess, or actually I should probably keep him like this because this is pretty much the position I'm going to have the Slave 1 in for the majority of this segment of the review. But yeah, so the cockpit piece just clicks right back on with the connectors that you saw there that it is attached to. And other than that, you do have some opening panels over here on both sides of the Slave 1 actually. And if we go ahead and basically just, you know, just pull on them, they come right out. And you can see that there is a lot of weaponry going on with the Slave 1 here. And on the side there, you have basically a couple of metallic cone pieces, a transparent yellow stud, and it just looks really freaking awesome. And if we fold that back in though to get a look at the one on the opposite side, you can see that we have pretty much the exact same thing, just missing the metallic cones. But in there, if we fold it out just a little bit more, we have a missile, and it looks freaking awesome. Obviously it does not fire, but detail wise it is really cool to see it in there. And it is actually on its own hinge piece, so it makes it much easier to fold this thing back in when you're, you know, closing the panel back up. But other than that, you also have the main guns on the bottom of this thing or the back of this thing, depending on which position you have it in, whether it's idling or whether it's you know, in its flight position. And they pretty much rotate 360 degrees if you kind of just pull them out a little bit to get them past the piping here. But I mean, it's all really nicely designed, very sturdy. I haven't had anything on this Slave 1 bust off yet accidentally. That's definitely a really good thing. But then the other core feature included with the Slave 1 here is obviously the cargo hold and the way it does fold out. And on the pretty much like you have this entire door that folds out. It's basically just a bunch of Technic pieces that makes up the door. You basically just take the Han Solo and carbonite piece, you take Han Solo himself, clip him into the carbonite piece, and then the hinges that are on each side of the carbonite piece are what you attach the actual carbonite block to, and then you pretty much just fold it right back into the Slave 1, and hopefully without getting it lost, I can get it clipped in here properly so that we can fold it in as I was mentioning. Let's see if I got it. I almost I almost got it. There we go. And basically, then it just seamlessly slides right into the the cargo hold of the UCS Slave 1. But there really isn't anything else inside there. It's literally just that feature that makes up for the interior. There's nothing really to see inside there aside from the cockpit itself. But in case you do accidentally lose the Han Solo and Carbonite or anything inside of the UCS Slave 1, on the bottom of this thing, you actually have a little hatch that comes down. If I can get it to, here we go. As a matter of fact, a little stud just fell off apparently, wherever that thing came from. But there's actually a little hatch right here, and this folds out in case you lose anything, and it'll fall right out. And it's definitely more that, I'm not really going to demonstrate it. It's pretty functional, and I think you get the idea that whatever you lose in there will come right out as long as you open up this hatch here. And yeah, so now that we have it flipped on, flipped on this side, I guess we can go ahead and get a look at the back and everything that's going on here. And you can see that there is just a tremendous amount of detail. I absolutely love everything going on here and how accurate it is too. I mean, it's self-explanatory. It really is. I mean, I think maybe some tiles could have been used here in these areas with the modified brick sticking out, and the holes kind of look a little bit odd. But I mean, nitpicking. It's just nitpicking. This set's fantastic. I probably shouldn't even have mentioned that. But I mean, you get the idea of just how detailed the back of this thing is. It looks freaking phenomenal, especially those engines. It all looks great. There's even some detail right here where you really can't see it, and that's really awesome. All the different, ventilation pieces and everything going on there, and it's a great design overall. It really is. And I mean, you get a lot of stickers on this thing. I should mention the sticker sheet is actually fairly tremendous with this set. So I'll go ahead and try to point out all the stickers before I actually move on to the minifigures, or not the minifigure stand, but the display stand. And so you have a sticker here, a sticker here, a sticker here, 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 and then you have 3 stickers on both wings, here, 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 and here. And then how many times did I just say here? I don't even want to know. You have a sticker on this side here, and for just some extra wear and tear, which looks super awesome. And then you have a sticker right here on the base, on the very back of the base there, and I think that pretty much covers it, aside from the stickers, the other stickers on each wing, which are pretty much almost the same. They have the same exact, not the same exact, but a similar pattern here and here, which is also worth addressing. And yeah, now there are a couple stickers inside the cockpit, which I should mention and point out. There is a sticker there too. But yeah, so a lot of freaking stickers with this thing, not even mentioning the info board sticker, which I'll get to later. But if we go ahead and just remove Boba Fett temporarily, like I already pointed out earlier, there is a sticker here, and then on the actual cockpit piece, there's a sticker here and here. Once again, I also already pointed that out. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for the actual stickers and all the playability functions, and it's just a lot to be seen with this thing. And one thing that does worry me when picking it up, I don't know if it's just me being paranoid, and or if it's just the fact that maybe the design is a little bit unstable. I don't know, but this concerns me when picking it up. Like, I don't know if this thing's going to break, if something's going to collapse, but when I see this, I am slightly concerned when picking it up. So I haven't picked it up like this yet, because honestly, it's a little bit unnerving when it does this. So I personally don't pick it up that way. I always pick it up from the base. But if you don't want to pick it up at all and you want to display this thing, of course, we have the actual display stand that is included with the UCS Slave 1, which is pretty much just a lot of Technic pieces, but it is very sturdy and incredibly strong, and the design for it really does work with this thing. And I'll get into the reasons just as to why this is also a little bit unnerving in just a second. But to give you a look at the info board, it's pretty much just everything that you can already get on Wikipedia. Honestly, if you really want to get into the details of the Slave 1 and the origins of it, and how Jango Fett acquired it, and how there were only 6 of these same ships when Jango Fett stole it on that one planet, which name I forget. It was actually a police ship. I mean, there's so much history that this thing doesn't actually even offer it. This thing just offers the specs of the vehicle, which is definitely, obviously, really awesome to see, and it's just overall really great to have the info board, and obviously it's included in every UCS set, of course, but I mean, it doesn't actually include any story behind where, Jango Fett actually got it. It's just, once again, a lot of specs, and just to give you a look at those specs, just, you can pretty much just pause the video and read them for yourself. But I mean, there's really nothing that I think I should bother reading other than, it's just a lot of really awesome specs. So yeah, excuse me. But So, I'm trying to catch my breath there because how long have I been talking? I don't even know. But to pretty much attach the UCS Slave 1 to the display stand, it's also a little bit unnerving. And I guess now that we're doing this, I should probably remove the cockpit, get Boba Fett in the appropriate position because he's going into flight mode here once I attach this thing to the display stand. If the cockpit piece will cooperate with me there. But yeah, so pretty much the way this works is these two pegs here just attach to the back of this thing. And it's a little bit unnerving, like I said, because basically the way this thing, you attach it is you have a couple of slots which I'll try to point out, and you can see them right there. They're right there and right there, and that's pretty much where you attach this thing with the display stand, and you pretty much just take the display stand and just put it right into those two slots, if I'm getting that for you guys, and it works, and it holds the Slave 1 in really well, and it's just man, you know, when you first put it on the display stand, you do have that one initial fear of, is this thing going to fall over? But it's not. It's actually held in place really well, and I'm really impressed by just how well that display stand works. And one thing that I should mention that I realized I didn't mention is that if you couldn't already tell, using some Technic axles, the wings do bend, and I think that was kind of a given, but hopefully you guys weren't aggravated with me that I didn't mention that. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much covers it. I should point out there is also a sticker there that I did miss out on. But I think that's pretty much it for the UCS Slave 1. I mean, there are a lot of details on this thing that I really want to point out too. Like there's a lot of details right here that are just absolutely incredible. All the different little details, you know, where the wings go in. And this set just has so much to offer in terms of design. That's why I highly, highly recommend it. It is just a great design, and the lead designer behind this thing and everyone else involved did such a great job bringing the UCS Slave 1 to life, and I'm so glad that it happened, and that is why I think it is time to wrap up my review on such an awesome set. This is a UCS set, so of course the box is kind of massive. It barely fits on a frame for me, but you can see we've got the UCS Slave 1 soaring through the skies of Bespin on the front there. Really nice design. The Ultimate Collector Series LEGO Star Wars logo down in the bottom left there, and then on the bottom right we've got the UCS Slave 1 on the display stand, and then on the top we've got the Slave 1 blueprints with its measurements, along with all 5 of the minifigures sporting the actual size reference, and then on the back we have all of the features that I just went over, along with a really nice shot of the UCS Slave 1 on the landing pad that we saw it on in Empire Strikes Back in the Cloud City of Bespin Man, and then a pretty cool action shot of the Bespin Guard loading up Captain Solo in the cargo hold, of course, and this box is pretty awesome and definitely does the job. So yeah, man, there you go. As somebody who just came off of the UCS Tumbler, this instruction manual definitely surprised me. I usually miss out on a lot of UCS sets, so I was not expecting such a thick instruction manual, because the Tumbler had like 5 instruction manuals, while this thing just has everything packed into a 303-page book. And like I really should have mentioned in the when I was talking about the info board pretty much has all the specs of the UCS Slave, or of the Slave 1 itself, but really in the introduction of the building experience for the UCS Slave 1, that's where you find all the info that I was talking about, and I realized I probably really should have mentioned it when I was talking about the info board there. But if we go ahead and get started here, you pretty much have a section that talks about the LEGO Star Wars design team, and if you want to go ahead and read that yourself, I'll go ahead and hold it steady. If you want to pause it for yourself, you have the design director for LEGO Star Wars down there in the corner as well, and then we also have a really nice concept art piece up here, pretty much stretched across the entire page, along with a ton of info about the Slave 1 within actual Star Wars canon. And I'll go ahead and pause that right there. You can go ahead and just pause that for yourself if you want to go ahead and have a read through info that you can already find on Wikipedia if you really want to, because it's all already on there, and you don't actually have to look through the physical book if you don't want to. But then we also have a really nice shot of the Slave 1 there on the right as well, continuing the same info on this page here. And then we have some of the original sketches of the Slave 1, which is definitely pretty cool. I personally have never seen those before, and this is a first time for me. Same thing for this shot. So that was really, this is all, really cool to see. And then we pretty much have a lot of the same specs that we already saw on the info board on this page. And then here we have a Q&A with the designer Hans, and man, huge props to this guy and everyone involved. They did such an amazing job with building the UCS Slave 1, with designing it, and it's a great, you guys heard my opinion on it. It's amazing. But yes, I'll go ahead and hold that steady there for you if you want to go ahead and pause that page. page. And then we'll go ahead and hold this steady here if you want to pause this page as well. And so there's definitely a lot to read here with this Q&A, and it's very informative about the design process and everything that it took for them to bring this to life. And then pretty much for the rest of this introduction, it's just the exact same thing. As I freaking dropped the instruction manual here, it's pretty much the exact same thing, just in different languages. So it is definitely pretty friendly to people. It's not just in English, obviously. So that's really cool. And yeah, so that's pretty much the introduction for the UCS Slave 1. And then you have obviously this showing what's included and what you build for each bag. And then if we go all the way to the back here at page 303, which is right here, we have the conclusion for the UCS Slave 1. And then right here, we don't really have any advertisements or anything like that you might be interested in looking at, just the parts list and an advertisement on the back, of course. So I mean, it's an awesome instruction manual, very thick, and I was not expecting it to be this thick personally, because once again, I don't usually get a lot of UCS sets. So this one was definitely pretty cool, and I absolutely love the introduction and everything it has to offer. And hopefully you were able to skim through that while I paused it, but there you go. With UCS sets, you're guaranteed to get a lot of extra pieces, and with this one, we get a lot of the visors that we saw on the Phase 1 clone troopers, and we don't get any pauldrons or wastegapes like we used to whenever rangefinders were included with this set, but we do get 4 extra visors, and then we get 3 extra rangefinders. In case you lose any of these accessories, you've got plenty to spare, and that's pretty awesome to see with this set. And then with the actual extra pieces, it's just, you can pretty much see everything going on here. It's a lot of connectors, there's a lot of tiles, there's a lot of cheese slopes, there's a lot of plates. You have a black lightsaber hilt in there for Boba Fett's rifle. I mean, it's all pretty much self-explanatory. You have some chrome studs in here, so there's a lot of extra pieces here, and hopefully this pretty much gives you a summary of what's included. But if we go ahead and cast these to the side, I do want to give you a look at the sticker sheet, and just so you are aware, the sticker sheet is numbered, so every single sticker on here, you know exactly which one to pull from, and or which sticker to pull out of this sheet, and so that definitely makes it pretty easy in case you were, I don't know, concerned for whatever reason. So yeah, but I think that pretty much concludes my review on the UCS freaking Slave 1, man. This set is awesome. I'm so glad I was able to review it for you guys. I know I missed out on a lot of UCS sets. Last year I missed out on a ton, but yeah guys, that's it for this set, and it's an absolutely amazing set. And without further ado, let's go ahead and wrap up this pretty freaking long review. Put Captain Solo in the cargo hold. You didn't even finish freezing him?
Where am I? I can't see anything.
Alright, and that's pretty much it for my review on the UCS Slave 1, and hopefully you survived that. If you did, and if you enjoyed this review or maybe found it informative, be sure to let me know by dropping this video a like below and or your opinion down in the comments, any of which are very much appreciated. And you can also follow me on the Twitter, the book faces, and the gram of the Instas. Links to all 3 of those are down in the description below as well, and there I've been posting all kinds of cool stuff that I can't post over here yet, like Ant-Man, Reverse Flash, a bunch of other stuff that you should definitely check out, man. But this set is amazing. You guys already heard my opinions on it, and I absolutely recommend it in every which way. But holy crap, I wish this review came out a week ago, but unfortunately I was not fortunate on January 1st when I went to my Lego store, because they sold out within 10 minutes, and then my friend Pugnacious10 ended up telling me that he went to the Lego store after I had left, the same exact Lego store, and told me that, hey, they had 5 of them and apparently they had more. So I ordered this thing on Lego.com and made you guys wait a week for this review for absolutely no reason. So yay! But it was kind of awesome though, because I met a couple of fans. As a matter of fact, I will link one of their channels down in the description below. Raven was awesome, and it was really cool to meet him at the Lego store here in North Carolina. So that was really awesome. I mean, at least that that there was something positive from the situation, man. But other than that, I think that is pretty much it for my review on the UCS Slave 1. I'm really hoping I'll be able to review the rest of the sets from the Lego Star Wars and DC lineups. No promises, but I'll do my best. And I'm just glad that this monstrosity is out of the way. It is an amazing monstrosity that I definitely recommend, and that's why I'm going to conclude this video, and I will catch you guys later. Alright. Bye! And the set number for this one is 750 shit. And the set number for this will you get the back on there, you little Slave 1, and the set number for this UCS, damn it. And so of course the box is pretty. Did I just bump the camera? As that was loud.